I hate to say this, but I just need to be honest. And I do believe love is like ultimately the foundation of everything in life. Us, the world, the universe, everything. But because we're humans, because we're experiencing this human condition, I have to be honest. And I'm sure a lot of people will relate, and I think I'll get a lot of people to agree on this. And it's okay if you don't. I think one of the best reasons to get married, besides all the good things I just mentioned, with love and all that, it's supposed to be important, but sex. Yes. One of the best reasons to get married is because you get to have sex. Now, in a way, I don't mean this as superficial as it sounds, but in a way, I do mean it to be as superficial as it sounds. Because it's not the end-all be-all of a relationship. It just is not. Right? If you're a toxic person, if you don't care, if you don't have the ability to love, if you're not really connected to yourself or your partner, then that's all you got. That's all you got is the sex. It's all you got, and hopefully it's good. Maybe it's not. And even then, it's still even a problem because it sets your life up for addictive behavior. But sex is, in a way, one of the best reasons to get married because you're supposed to, and I don't mean this on a completely selfish level, like, okay, you get to have sex whenever you want. You can friggin' do whatever you want to your partner. You can, it's not all for you. So that's not the standpoint I'm coming from. I'm saying this is one of the best reasons to get married because you get to have this with your partner and it's supposed to be monogamous. Meaning, if you get married, you're not supposed to have sex with anyone else. Heck, you're not even supposed to have, sexual intimacy with anyone. Like kissing or hugging or being close bonded, with your body in any way. It doesn't have to be naked. When you get married, that's supposed to be between you and your person. And this is why it's supposed to be one of the best things because, number one, you get to reserve all that sexual energy for one person who you're supposed to be in love with. Not just sexually attracted to, in love with. In a way, you're supposed to use your partner. I'm laughing because I'm not saying use your partner as if they're an object, but if you need to get your release out, or it's like, hey, I am feeling extremely sexual, that's what your partner is there for. Not saying they're to be used, but in a way they are to be used. To a degree. With self-respect. Right? With, hopefully that's a shared experience. It's not just for you. It's a shared moment. Like, oh, I'm done. Thanks. That's not like you care at all. And even if that did occur, I'd like to say it's not even that big of a deal. And maybe they don't mind it. I'm just saying, it's all different. It depends on how we're feeling, the mood and all that. Which is why this is such a great thing to have in the relationship. Because look at how this evolves. Look at how it's experienced. It's not just about getting off. I mean, to a degree, and inherently, according to biology, just to have our species continue to survive and exist, that's the basics to it. But because you love your person, or you're supposed to, you got married, right? You're supposed to be in love with them. It can just be just sex. It could just be sex. Doesn't have to be all love because you already love them. But that doesn't mean that can't be a an example of love. Like, I'm not going to just disrespect you, nor am I going to abuse you. But maybe you like the disrespect and abuse. But then we're crossing the line of what's healthy and unhealthy. To what degree does that become a problem? Maybe it never does. But just like anything that's introduced into a relationship, it needs to be nurtured, it needs to be understood, it needs to be worked with, it needs guidance, it needs some acceptance, acknowledgement, appreciation, valued. You see, this whole thing of sex is like a very contributable experience. Maybe I just want to please you. I'm not interested in your pleasure being something I'm going to get off on, and I'm just interested in your pleasure that I can give you is something that you truly feel your sexual nature off of. And there will be times where I will use it to get off on, so I can then have a sexual experience at a high level of sexual energy for myself. And then there will be experiences where we both get to give this to each other, and therefore it's a contributable thing where we're both almost fueled by this sexual chemistry. And it's all different. And everybody's different with all of this. Some people are more reserved. Some people are more, I need more. Some people are more, I need to take my time. Some people are more like, I'm ready whenever you're ready. Some people are more pushy. Some people are more hesitant. And all of this can change and develop over time based on our personality styles, based on our comfort levels, based on our experiences with other people in this regards, or just in general with our own emotions and experiences of life. And we get to allow this to be shared with another. And if another really wants to share this with you, they're ultimately going to respect all that, because we're not all the same. We're all different. And that can change over time as well. This is why you want someone you love, because you're not ultimately with them for the sex. The sex is a bonus. It's a bonus! If you don't love your partner and something catastrophic happens to them and they can no longer have sex for whatever the reason, guess what? What do you do then? That's what the relationship was based off of. Then what? So I'm not trying to say sex is everything. But what I'm trying to say, when it's available, when it's something you're working together with, and mind you, it's something you're working together on your own with, because you're feeling this out for you as well, it gets to be a very beautiful and absolutely lustful appreciation of all of this with one person. And it absolutely is a great thing if you could have it this way, because ultimately, you save yourself for your partner. Think about that. Saving yourself for your partner, not having this with anyone else. And guess what? Your sexual chemistry will be that much greater. It would be that much more potent because you're more sensitive to it. So we also don't want to abuse this. And not to say you can't have weeks on end or even months on end where it's like going at it almost all the time. But what I'm saying is you want to be able to stabilize some kind of congruency with, I am still extremely turned on by you, and I am still extremely potently ready, because, we found a sweet spot where it's, maybe we had all our ups and downs with all of this. I don't know. Maybe there's some good times, bad times. Maybe it was just whatever, but this is why you ultimately get to work together on this. And whatever that means and however that works, fine. But the ultimate idea is, let's make this a wonderful, truly amazing part of our existence. Not only just being a human with ourselves, but with each other. Together. I don't want to be alone on this. Meaning, I'm figuring it all out. It's, we barely ever talk about this or barely ever work together on any of it. No, this is why you get married. So you get to work on all this, because guess what? You're probably not going to have this ability with anyone else. Meaning, no one's going to care, no one's going to work with you, no one's going to try to understand what are your passions, what are your desires, how can I respect you, how can I value, how can I make this for you, how can I make this for us, how can I make this more special, how can I make this more just sexualized, how can I intensify all this, how can I make this more sensitive, no one's going to care. Not that nobody really does care, but ultimately when you're just hooking up, when you're just having sex with whoever, whatever, that's what it becomes. It becomes whatever. And not to say that's not good, it's not raw, it's not real, and it could just be completely animalistic. Fine. Why couldn't you have that with another person that you're married to? So maybe that's missing in the marriage. What I'm trying to say is, we should use sex as like we use anything. If I want to show my partner that I love them, how can I show them that I love them? What am I going to do? Is it always the same thing? Do I always have to buy something? Can I be creative? Can I just use words? Can I leave a note on their car door and they don't even know it and they're going off to work in the morning? Or somehow I sneak off of my own lunch break to put a flower on their door? Or, maybe in the mail I send them a letter, yes, to our own house or to where we're living or where they're living or their workplace, and it's addressed to them, and I just say, hey, I just want to let you know I've been thinking about you and, I love you. Something so simple like that. Where do we get to give our partner more of this experience of ourselves, of how we're feeling and what we want, what we desire? And it doesn't have to just be sex related. It could be anything related, but I'm talking about sex here. We could add the aspect of you should have fun with your partner. You're married. You should do stuff together. Right? It's like a marriage gets boring. That's because you're boring. Maybe it's your partner who's boring. Doesn't mean you can't evolve together, even if you're both boring. I'm not saying that's bad, and I know I have like a tone or an attitude of it's not good, but I'm ultimately saying all that can grow because you're married. You get to talk about it. Who the hell else are you going to talk about this stuff to? Right? All I'm saying is we want to have a relationship that is the best damn relationship of your entire life. Of your entire life. Because your married person is the person who's going to experience so much more of you, or at least they should, than anyone else will ever experience you. So you want this to be, if not one of the most, you want this to be the most valuable relationship. But how is it going to be valuable if we don't share, much? If we aren't trying to be have more chemistry or more compatibility or whatever even all that stuff is? How can we have this wonderful so-called relationship? It's supposed to be the best or whatever ever. How if I don't know how? Or I don't know what to do? Or it's too much work? Or this or that or whatever. All I'm saying is there's a billion things we could do in different areas of making any relationship great, but this is the one you should only have the sex with. This is the one you should only have that real intimacy with. Yeah, just holding someone's hand should freaking be special. It should be. We should have this very intimate and sexual relationship with a partner. And when I talk about intimate, I'm not just, I know intimacy could just be sitting in the same room and being happy that you're in the company of another. That's intimate. But intimacy in a sexual way, I think, all that stuff, anything that will regard to sexuality with another person, we want that. We want to grow with that. We want to explore with that. We want to evolve with that. We want to contribute to that. We want to get to understand. Read some books together. Watch some videos together. I'm just saying, watch some videos that are about improving all this, right? And I'm not saying bad about all the other videos. All I'm saying is when we start introducing things that can take away from, or it starts to take over, or it starts to, and we're like, you know what? Let's start taking away some things that are ruining our relationship, or making it more addictive, or making it more not even about each other. And I'm not even saying you can't have the sex just be about each other. It could just be about you. But the point is, it's like, why aren't we communicating all this, and why can't we contribute together with where we want to go with this and how it's all going? Because, man, I just want this to be a wonderful part of our relationship, because I don't want it with anyone else. How could we contribute so this is one of the most damn unbelievable experiences you're ever going to exist, you will ever experience in your entire existence.